Welcome to Hello Church. I am Justin Trapp.
I'm Wade Bearden, and this is episode 54. We're going to be talking about Mother's Day ideas. Not just service ideas, but we will include service ideas. And I think this is a great opportunity to really make your Mother's Day special.
Yeah, Mother's Day is one of the most visited Sundays or weekends of the year. So you have Easter, obviously you have Christmas, and then Mother's Day is top 5 for most churches.
At the 3 churches I have served at, statistically speaking, it's not even like, I think I saw more people there. Statistically speaking, Mother's Day was the 3rd highest attended Sunday almost every year. And it's wild because you don't think about that, but if you just kind of stop and you're like moms want their kids to go to church with them. And so everybody shows up. Because it's Mother's Day and you got to give it to your mom, right?
Yeah, you got to go to church with mama.
You got to go to church with mama, and mama pulls out the church card on Mother's Day, which, I mean, she could ask for anything, and she pulls out the church card. That's a sign of a good mama.
Some mamas, they don't even pull out the church card. You just know you got to go.
Right.
Yeah. Like if you don't go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mercy.
Mercy said no.
Mercy said go to church with your mama on Mother's Day. So let's dive right in. We have a few ideas related to your message, sermon series. We have a few ideas related to the service community, and then a few little different activities that may be helpful. So let's jump in. Let's just start with the service, or excuse me, the message and the sermon.
Yeah.
We have several sermon series and sermon ideas on ministrypass.com.
Yeah.
One of the ones that we have is really cool that you could sort of start on Mother's Day and end on Father's Day.
Yeah.
It's called Lasting Legacy.
Yeah. So we've got Lasting Legacy. And what's great about this is it's a 2-week series, but you're going to break it up, right? You're going to start on Mother's Day, and then you're going to finish it on Father's Day. And the graphics for both look alike, but they're tailor-made for that specific holiday. We actually just released a new one on our website called The Power of Parenting. And there's a Mother's Day version and a Father's Day version. So if you're looking for a specific message, we've got a number of ideas on Ministry Pass that you can use. Be intentional. You could also do a sermon series about a couple of women in the Bible. You could do a sermon series on Ruth. There's some great material there. You could do a sermon on Mary, the mother of Jesus. You just have a lot of different opportunities to specifically address that audience, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
And we'll give you another idea here in a moment on Mother's Day. And I think some of the resources on Ministry Pass could help you, or at least give you some ideas as you plan that out.
If you wanted to go for more of a panel type of message,
that's a good idea.
What you could do is you could interview your mom or interview a few moms, right?
You're like, Mom, we have one rule: don't share any embarrassing stories.
Right? Yeah,
it's a wild card.
Wild card. Depending on my mom's definitely a wild card.
So maybe if your mom's not too wild of a wild card, you could have her be on a panel with you and talk about motherhood and parenting. I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah. So what you could do is you could have a young mom. You could have a mom. That's maybe your wife or someone on staff. You could have, someone from the congregation. They've been a mother for 50 years and have a panel and then have people ask questions. There are different apps, by the way, that you can make available to your church. You can tell them to text a certain number. You can put up a link on your church website and they can anonymously ask questions and then the crowd can vote them out. We actually just did this. It was a marriage series at our church. And I thought it was awesome. There's lots of people asking lots of questions and then different the congregation were voting up the questions like, that's a great question, you have a moderator, so the moderator can filter some stuff out.
When we did the marriage one, somebody asked a question about polygamy in the Bible, and
which is a fair question.
Yeah, it was a fair question, and the congregation banded together, and that was the most liked, voted on question in the entire app. But do something like that. Do something fun. And like you said, have a moderator who's on stage.
Yeah.
Who can kind of direct those questions. And I think that could be a fun change of pace for your service.
Well, I really enjoyed the service, and it gave me the idea for the Mother's Day, because if you have several moms on stage, and there's moms in all different stages of life, right? All different seasons, represented on the stage, but also represented in your congregation, and maybe it's someone who's expecting their first child. There are all those nervous energies and anxiety and excitement, and joy. And they have questions about mother. And she has questions about motherhood. And there may be people that have on the stage that have been a mother for 40 years. What kind of sage wisdom can they give to someone who's got two small boys, 5 and 7, and they're just entering, those adolescent years. There's an opportunity there for your congregation, the wisdom of the women in your congregation, to speak to the others. And I think that's really kind of could be a special moment.
Yeah. So we've got a couple ideas as it relates in the message for specifically just like talking about Mother's Day and speaking to moms directly. Here's another avenue that I think actually might be great for you this year. And normally on Mother's Day, we talk about a subject relating to motherhood. But because it's one of the most attended Sundays of the year, and because you get a lot of people who haven't been to church in a long time coming with their moms, it might be advantageous to honor the moms. And then when you preach, you actually preach an evangelistic message, or maybe a message about the importance of...
Because there's a lot of rebels.
Yeah, a lot of rebels. A lot of prodigals in the audience. Of participating in church, or maybe add some videos of families talking about how they connect in small groups. Just really trying to help those people know Christ, come back home, and get involved in the local church. And I think a lot of moms would probably appreciate that. So when you plan your message, keep in mind that you're not just preaching to people who've been in church their whole lives, but you're also preaching to people who might be skeptical of your church service. So I think that's an important point, and one you need to consider this year.
Another thing you can do, and I'm shifting gears here for more of celebrating moms in the community, right? You can use Mother's Day as an outreach opportunity. So you can market it on your social media platforms, but also in your physical community. One of the things you can do is you can make cards, or take flowers. Maybe you can't give a flower to every mom in your community, but maybe you can have some ladies at the church or some volunteers at the church come make some bouquets, and then you go take a bouquet to a business and say, hey, happy Mother's Day from so and so church. There's different things that you can do. Another thing that you can do is, there was a church in San Antonio that I had heard about, an event that they did where they wanted to honor single moms in the community. And I thought it was such a really neat idea. And so they did this dinner, this banquet, and it was, you didn't have to go to the church, but it was this big single moms night out type of thing. You could do a mom's night out. You could also do a single mom's night out, but I think they're similar, right? They had free childcare. They had a really nice meal. They had a speaker, and they did giveaways for the moms. It was just a fun night for single moms. I think the same is true for just a mom's night out. You could do daycare, childcare. You could have maybe hire some masseuses or a salon technician, so you could do like free pedicures or free manicures to the ladies when they come in. You probably can't get free manicures to everybody because there's not enough time, but have an area, right, for shopping, sort of leisure activities where they can maybe get a 10-minute back rub on a chair from a local masseuse or whatnot. Just a mom's night out.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
It'd be nice for them, and you've essentially served the mothers in your community.
Yeah. Another group that you could also reach out to are those within the foster community. For people who are fostering children, and whether those children are their biological children, or they have biological children, I should say. that's a great way to honor them and say you're a mother to these individuals. And I think that'd be great. So a couple different ideas to work through in the community. And then I think, too, you can have some good service elements to add creativity to your Mother's Day program, because a lot of what you're going to do on Mother's Day actually happens in the service. And we were thinking about how Mother's Day is kind of hard on some people, so you have to understand that. And one way that might be good to show that sensitivity is to do something like rope off the first 2 rows and put maybe a white rose to commemorate the moms who have been lost, the children who have been lost, the people who find Mother's Day kind of rough and kind of difficult. Maybe for people who've experienced a miscarriage as well. Maybe you could just
infertility.
Yeah, and just kind of set that aside and just say, hey, we just did this because we want to say we remember you. And I think that could be a really good idea, while also taking time to remember the moms who were there. So something like that. We were thinking about maybe a slideshow, but then we were like, well, it'd be like that section in the Oscars where all the people who pass, and it might be really...
It's like the worst part of the Oscars.
Yeah, it might just really bring things to a halt. So maybe not that, but and inevitably you put Aunt Becky in there, and she's actually still alive. She just haven't been to church in a while because of COVID. And she's like, wait, why am I on that slideshow?
There it is.
So, but I think something like that could be a lot of
Becky
fun.
transforms into Karen.
Oh, no.
No, I think it's important to, it is Mother's Day, right? So you want to honor all the moms, but not every woman within the sound of your voice from the platform has the luxury or the opportunity to have been a mother. I know my grandmother, she actually married my grandfather after my grandmother passed away. So Sue, she married my grandfather. She had an only child, and he passed away at the age of 15 or 16. And on Mother's Day, I think about her, and I don't want to say Happy Mother's Day, but I do text her and say, hey, just wanted you to know I'm thinking about you today. I love you. So there's our ways to honor sort of those unique or unique cases, so to speak, special cases in the auditorium, without it being a Debbie Downer or the Becky slideshow.
Yeah. And Becky's still alive. Man, she's just COVID. She's been at home.
she's still ticking. Yeah. So you could do that. You could also do a fun thing, right? You could get children involved. You could send out some emails, post on your social media like, hey, we're doing a special thing on Mother's Day. And if you'd like to say a special message to your mom, just send it to this email, dearmom@Northwood Church or whatever your church is.com. And you could just read them throughout the service. You don't have to read them all at once, but maybe you just have a slideshow going pre-service. So it's like John, from John, is like, dear mom, I just want to say I love you so much. Appreciate all those, chicken pot pies. That's my favorite meal growing up. Or just it doesn't have to be serious, but it can be fun. But
your famous ramen soup.
Yeah, there it is. That pork chop pie that you used to make. Why is everything centered on food and mom?
I don't know.
I'm starting to think about all the food that my mom made growing up. So you could print out messages. You could have them projected pre-service. You could mention some during service. Hey, this message comes in from Susie. Dear mom. So it's always like it's a dear mom thing, right? You could also, right? They always have the cute kids videos where it's like,
where the person sits down with the kid and asks them a question, and the kid's responses are funny. Yeah, it's kind of like its own genre at this point. But you could do one for Mother's Day. Yeah,
and you could you could preload the deck with some interesting questions like, what do you think your mom does all day while you're at school? I mean, that's going to be some really funny answers.
What do you think your mom does at work?
Yeah.
You could do some fun ones. That could get you in trouble, though. You just have to be a little careful.
It could. You could say...
be wise in your editing of the footage.
Right. Is there anything that your mom cooks that you don't like?
Yeah,
really good. So that would be fun. You could also, speaking of the kids, you could, in children's church, you could have your children's ministry or nursery ministry, create crafts or do some sort of take home for the kid to give to their mom on Mother's Day. And your mom's like that. I can't tell you how many times my son Shiloh, he loves to draw and he loves to paint, and so he'll just literally go in his room and he'll paint something or he'll draw with his markers, and my wife loves it. Like, we can't even tell what it is half the time, but it's just the thought that he went and created that for her means a lot. And so you could do something like that.
A question too. So this happens during Father's Day, during Mother's Day. As people are leaving, they're like, "Hey, we got you a free gift." And if I'm being honest, it's the thought that counts, right?
Don't do the pink pens with the church address on it. Like, please.
Anytime I've left the service on Father's Day and they give you something, I don't usually keep it. Or maybe somebody gave me this little, I don't know if it was a pocket knife or something. It broke the same day. It just feels to me like,
if you're gonna do it,
kind of waste.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do flowers, do roses. Don't do carnations, please. Don't cheap out on carnations. This is not a funeral.
So just be cognizant of that. Yeah. And I personally think, instead of doing something where you spend, $4 or $5 per mom and it's something they don't really use, to maybe think through that. If you could even use that money, like you said, to maybe do give them a coupon for Mother's Day out, where it's or Mother's Night Out, where it's hey, on this weekend, on this Saturday night, we're going to have people babysitting at the church. We're going to have a kids program. You come and drop off your children. I think that if you put your resources in something like that, could be more helpful and more, they appreciate it a little bit more. And then you said something the other day too. Maybe instead of giving someone a rose that they're just gonna hold on to and leave in the car,
gonna die in their car during lunch.
Yeah, maybe just make the sanctuary, the environment, look really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the lobby and in the sanctuary, have bouquets of flowers everywhere, right? So make the entire environment. Take that money and invest it there. You could do a photo booth. So you could do
nice.
Floral photo. If you go to church with mom, she always wants a picture anyways, right?
Yeah.
So you might as well give them something pretty to take a picture in front of. I know my wife, she loves, anytime our church, we have a Christmas or an Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, there's always a photo booth. And of course, we've got to get a photo. And my wife loves that. And so.
And usually at our church too, there's someone who is a professional photographer who attends the church, will take those pictures. And so they're better than just the iPhone photos. So that's something that people really value, I think.
So those are a few ideas.
Yeah.
This gives you a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
We do have, if you just go to ministrypass.com, if you need help with your message content, your message preparation, you just go to ministrypass.com, do a search for Mother's Day. And we have lots of, not only do we have the series and the content and some sermon illustrations you can use, but also we do have, if you just need the media assets.
Just an announcement slide.
Yeah, the announcement slides for a Mother's Day. We should do, I don't know if we have a Mother's Night Out on the site, but we should get that ASAP. We'll add that. And then if you don't find what you're looking for there, you can always go to our other site, seriesideas.com. It's our idea site. We post a new sermon series idea every day. And just do a search for Mother's Day. I'm sure you're going to find lots of stuff there as well. But that's Hello Church, episode 54. We'd love to hear what you've done or what you're going to do this year for Mother's Day. Something that you say may spark an idea or may be a great idea for another church. We aren't the holders of all the great ideas. You guys have lots of great ideas. And every time we do an idea podcast episode on our YouTube channel, we see a lot of people chiming in with a lot of great ideas. So make sure you comment. What is your church doing this year that's special for mothers? We'd love to hear from you. And then of course, if you haven't turned on the notifications on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, make sure you turn those bell notifications on, because we do release a new episode every week and you'll be the first to know when they publish.
Yes. This has been episode 54. If you'd like to comment on social media or on Twitter, you can use the hashtag HelloChurchPod. You can also comment on our YouTube stream, our YouTube video. For now, I guess that's it.
Hi, Mom.
See you next week on Hello Church.